Welcome into New Orleans Saints Now. I'm your host, Trace Girouard, and today we're getting into my perfect 2023 offseason plan. And I believe I have a 5-step plan to ensure that the New Orleans Saints win the offseason and can get back on track next year whenever they take the field. And to kind of get things laid out, I got to set the scene for you. Here's our offseason outlook. The Saints do not have a first-round draft pick. They traded it away to move up and go get Chris Olave. The Eagles currently own their first round pick. Right now, it's setting at a top 5, top 6 pick. So obviously, you wish you had that, but it's all right. You can manage. The Saints have actually done pretty good. I have a really good history in drafting in the second round. They're currently about $60 million over the cap in terms of their cap space for next year. A lot of guys could potentially walk. A lot of guys could retire. You got to cut some people, trade. I don't know. There's a lot of things that could happen. So $60 million, a lot of money. You're going to need Cap God Mickey to do his thing once again. But speaking of Cap God Mickey, it's a huge offseason for Mickey and Loomis because, I think I can speak for all of the Who Dat Nation. We are disappointed. This has been an absolute failure of a season. Nobody's happy with the situation going on, and a lot needs to change if they want the team to make progress and get back on track. But if you're excited to get ready for the offseason, you're excited to get everything going, excited to get the draft, trades, free agency, all that started, hit the thumbs up icon. The bosses were just telling me we couldn't hit 500 likes on a Saints video. It's been forever since we've done that. And I also just want to lay this out there. One of our bosses may or may not be a Falcons fan, so come on. Help me out here. Like the video so we can shut up the Falcons fans. Let's get 500 likes on this video. And let's go ahead and dive on into my offseason plan for New Orleans. Step 1, hire a new head coach and an offensive coordinator. I'm going to be focusing more on head coach on this. I've done a little bit more research on head coaches. But Pete Carmichael, you had years under Sean Payton. This is your chance to show what you got. You did nothing. The DA experiment, however, needs to be done. Dennis Allen is not a head coach. He was a failure with the Raiders in his short stint with them. He's been a failure with the Saints in his one season as the head coach here. Or not even full season as the head coach. It's time to be done with it. It's time to wrap it up. I'm over it. I'm not happy with the situation. The team rankings are a joke. This team was for the past 10 years, is one of the most winning NFL franchises across the league. Right now, they're ranking 14th in overall team across the NFL. 16th in offense, 13th in defense, first in special teams, which I guess cool, first in special teams. I don't know really why that would be the case because Will Lutz has been missing field goals. Blake Gillikin just started finding his step in and getting his punts back on par where we expected them to be. That being said, Rashid Shaheed kick returns and punt returns have been pretty electric. They've had some blocked kicks. Special teams, I'm not going to get too much into it, but this right here is a joke. The Saints are not this bad, and Dennis Allen is to blame for it. There's no accountability, and that's the situation. But my top 2 head coaching candidates, I've gotten into it multiple times. DeMeco Ryans, defensive coordinator for the 49ers, or Shane Steichen, the offensive coordinator for the Eagles. Both of these guys are very, very talented, know exactly what to do when it comes to developing young talent and progressing a team to do what you need to do. But I think DeMeco Ryans, Shane Steichen, 2 very hot names to be looking out for in the head coaching carousel this upcoming offseason. And they're 2 guys that I think would be an absolute crime to not at least bring in for an interview and just see what's up. And I'm going to go ahead and ask you all this. Be the GM. Put yourself in Mickey Loomis's shoes. What would be the first offseason move you would make? Would it be find a quarterback? Would it be get rid of Dennis Allen? Would it be trade Michael Thomas? I'm not saying I would, but what would your offseason move be? Let me know in the comments section. It's the pinned comment. Go ahead and take advantage of the ad break and let us know. And guys, while you're also down there, go ahead and subscribe. This is the number 1 spot to get offseason news, rumors, updates, coverage, all sorts of things. And the best part is we don't just do the offseason. We have been doing live shows and live watch parties for the season. We've been getting things involved all year long. It's a great spot to be. We're trying to hit $10,000 or 10,000 subscribers, by Thursday. That's my birthday. I would love to have 10K on my birthday. That would be just such a fun gift. So help me out, guys. Go ahead and subscribe to New Orleans Saints Now if you'll bleed black and gold. Next thing, you got to free up some cap space. $60 million above the cap it's bad. It's talented players that you would have to get rid of or have to let walk. But a couple guys that I honestly wouldn't hate seeing leave. I think these are 4 names probably wouldn't be that bad of losses, honestly. Marcus Davenport, Andy Dalton, Deontay Hardy, and Mark Ingram. Davenport, it's taken him forever to get his step and to get into into his role opposite of Cam Jordan. Honestly, you probably want a little bit, or I personally want a little bit more out of Marcus Davenport or out of whoever lines up opposite of Cam. Andy Dalton, he's on a 1-year contract. There's no reason to bring him back. Get another quarterback in here. Deontay Hardy, it sucks that the situation with him, it was an injury. It blows that he kind of lost his spot. But what I will say is I think it's rightfully deserved. So Rashid Shaheed's been a dog, and he's been absolutely lighting it up. Mark Ingram, he's old, and now he has that injury. I think it's time that you let Mark Ingram do his thing and potentially retire. But you have to use this offseason to set yourself up for the future. You cannot spend all of this money and all of this time to do nothing unless you're bringing in quality talent that's going to be expensive. The cap space game is exhausting. I'm so tired of having to watch Mickey Loomis play cap space gymnastics trying to get money under the cap so you can go and sign a couple players. I mean, if they had money throughout the offseason, they'd be able to sign, or throughout the regular season, you'd be able to sign players like OBJ or T.Y. Hilton, who just got signed. You'd be able to, and I'm not saying that would fix the Saints season this year, but I'm saying you don't have money throughout the season, so you can't make improvements during the season when the trade deadline has passed. And I think it's a joke. Cap space game is absolutely exhausting. But you know what's not exhausting? Partnering with this awesome company, Fetch. They're an amazing company, and it's an amazing app, and I cannot wait to tell you all about them. Today's Saints Now is presented to you and brought to you by Fetch. Fetch is a super easy to use and free app that lets you earn rewards on literally anything you buy. Scan any physical receipt or e-receipt, and you will earn points for your purchases, and the process only takes seconds. You don't have to worry about where the receipt is from or what's on it. So let me show you how simple it is. All you do is open up the Fetch app, press the orange camera button, and snap a photo of your receipt. Then hit submit, and you'll see the confetti pop, showing that you've earned more reward points. It's a simple process, and you can also click the e-receipt function to get rewarded for your Amazon purchases or other online shopping by syncing your email account. You can then redeem those points for gift cards at Amazon, Starbucks, or any of the other hundreds of retailers and restaurants available. Fetch is available on iPhone or Android, and be sure to use our code chatsports.com/fetch and use promo code chat to get 5,000 free points. You're halfway there to a $10 gift card. I've been saving so much money on my holiday shopping. I have birthdays of friends coming up. I've been saving so much money, getting points. I'm paying it forward and picking up some Chick-fil-A for lunch later this week because I have my points with Fetch. So do the same. Get started, chatsports.com/fetch. Use promo code chat for 5,000 points. The link and code will be in the comments and in the description of this video. All right, here's a fun one. My perfect plan, go get Lamar. Go get that guy. Go get Lamar Jackson. I know I just said don't spend a bunch of money if you don't have it, but that's why number 2 on my plan is to free up cap space. So you can go freaking get Lamar Jackson, because I don't know what the Ravens are going to do. If it's me, I would have already signed him. I would have already extended him and brought him in. This guy, 63% completion percentage, just under 2,300 yards in passing, 17 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. He is great. And not to mention the rushing ability. 112 carries, 764 yards, just under 7 yards per carry and 3 touchdowns on the ground. Lamar Jackson is a beast. But you do have Jameis Winston as on contract through next year. You signed him to a 2-year contract last offseason. This was his first year. You have next season. I think it's still worth keeping Jameis Winston as a QB2. He's a great team guy. He's a great locker room guy. He's hilarious. He's fun. He keeps the morale up. He keeps the energy up. And if you think Andy Dalton is the Saints should keep Andy Dalton over Jameis Winston as a QB2, I'm sorry. I just disagree. Sure, Andy Dalton might be outperforming Jameis Winston, and I don't even necessarily know if I would agree with that through the whole season. But it's one of those things. I really like Jameis Winston in the black and gold. I think he's a great team guy. But at the end of the day, the quarterback has to be addressed. This cannot be something that slips through the cracks. I'm praying to God, Mickey Loomis, just listen, please, listen. don't mess up this. Don't just forget about the quarterback. Don't go get somebody in the draft in the second round and then not address it in free agency or before the trade deadline. Like, you got to get in a quarterback. You cannot run it back next season with Jameis Winston, whoever QB2 is, if you decide to re-sign Andy Dalton and Taysom Hill. God, no. Please just, no. I can't do that. I'd like to see Lamar Jackson be the quarterback next season. And I want to ask you, who do you think should be the quarterback next season? Who do you think should be QB1? Who should be leading the Saints offense and taking charge of helping the Saints get back on track? Let me know down in the comment section. Take advantage of this quick second and let me know. I'm really curious. I'm probably going to say Lamar Jackson if you had to ask me. All right. Number 4, and this one might be some that people don't necessarily like to see. You got to trade away Sean Payton's contract. And I say trade it away because I don't think it's a guarantee that, or I know for a fact it's not a guarantee he comes back. There's potential destinations that have been mentioned through the season, through the offseason, as, just kind of things continue to pan themselves out through the season. These are the 5 teams I've seen the most around. The Dallas Cowboys for very obvious reasons, but Mike McCarthy, maybe they play well, get to the NFC Championship. They don't necessarily fire him. I don't know. The Chargers, Sean Payton has mentioned that he'd like to go coach at the Chargers. The Rams, that's a new one. I saw today online. The Rams might be interested in bringing him. Sean McVay might retire. It's LA. You're still playing that. So I think that's another place to watch. I think it's a sneaky one to look for. And honestly, I think as a Saints fan, I'd probably cry real tears if Sean Payton went to the Rams. But let's at least trade him and fleece him. Arizona Cardinals, I know that he would be interested in linking up with Kyler Murray. Cliff, he's very much so on the hot seat. And then there is always the potential that he could return to New Orleans to coach with the Saints. But I want to address the trade right here. So the John Gruden trade, this has been a trade that a lot of people have kind of been comparing what Sean Payton could go for. No, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'll stand by this take. It's not happening for this much. You're not getting a first and a second round pick, or 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and $8 million cash for one coach. That's not happening. It's just simply not going to happen. It stinks. It's unfortunate. I would love for the Saints to get that haul, but there's just no way. And I doubt that Sean Payton does return to New Orleans. But if we've learned anything this season, it's you can never say never. Remember, Russell Wilson was never going to get traded to the Broncos. Remember, Tom Brady was retired and he's not coming back. Remember, the Broncos were supposed to be good. Remember, the Chargers are supposed to be great this year. Remember, the Vikings weren't supposed to be that great. Remember, the Seahawks were supposed to be tanking and going for Bryce Young. But here they are in the NFC wildcard, battling for the NFC wildcard. If we've learned anything, you can never say never. So I don't want to rule out Sean Payton coming back to New Orleans. Throw him the bag, though, Mickey. Just, pull out your checkbook, blank check, give it to him, and say, hey, come home. It's fun. You miss it, right? You miss winning, don't you? Because I sure as hell miss winning. So, just do what you want with that information. But the last thing, you have to replace C.J. Gardner-Johnson. That role, the nickel safety role, has been the most missed, I think, in the entire defense across the board for the Saints. C.J. Gardner-Johnson not only put up numbers, he not only put up good stats and great highlights, but he brought mass amounts of energy and mass amounts of swagger and incredible levels of charisma to that defense. He was the lifeblood of that defense. And you're seeing this season now with this current depth chart. Sure, Marshon Lattimore's been banged up. Sure, Marcus May is adjusting. Bradley Roby just came out of IR. Tyrann Mathieu's been kind of slow. He's doing all right, but he leads the team in interceptions. Paulson Adebo, there's been injuries, there's been excuses. Alante Taylor stepped up, but you can't sit here and confidently tell me when Bradley Roby went on IR that you were 100% content and happy with what Chris Harris Jr. was doing. Could you bring CD home? He is going to be a free agent this offseason. I think the Eagles make him a priority signing, but if he doesn't, why would you not go back and get him? You have to go get C.J. Gardner-Johnson if he's available on free agency. And if he's not, which I suspect would be the case, here's a couple guys that I would look for to replace him with. Jesse Bates, it's a good safety. He's going to be a free agent. Jimmy Ward with the Niners, he's going to be a free agent this year. But then 2 guys in the draft, Brian Branch out of Alabama and J.L. Skinner out of Boise State. I think those two guys on the draft side. You could potentially get them in the second round. They could have a possibility of falling. So maybe that's something that you explore. I think safety and the defensive back is one of the weaker spots on the Saints right now, and we got to see a little bit more progress and a little bit more what's the word? A little more production out of the defensive backs. But that's my offseason plan. Number 1, hire a new head coach and offensive coordinator. 2, clear up some cap space. 3, sign Lamar. 4, trade Sean Payton's contract. 5, replace C.J. Gardner-Johnson, get you a safety, get you some nickel help. So I want you to go down, be honest, grade my offseason plan. Let me know, A, B, C, D, or F. If you enjoyed this video, I'll definitely do another one because I had a lot of fun making it. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and drop a like on today's video.